So I did my presentation on attribution. It's a psychological aspect. Attribution is to explain by indicating a cause. So an example of an attribution would be, John is not focusing because he's hungry. The purpose of attribution is to give us cognitive control. It allows us to have order and predictability. It can be used as a coping mechanism to help us understand the world around us. There are two types of attribution. The first is internal or dispositional. It's an explanation of individual behavior as a result caused by internal characteristics that reside within the individual. So a little redundant there, but it's basically our motives, our beliefs, and our personality. And we often, when we're using or making internal attributions, we're talking about the characteristics of others. An example would be, Tim fell asleep in class. He probably stayed up too late playing video games. The second type of attribution is an external or situational attribution. This is the explanation of individual behavior as a result caused by external forces. So again, a little redundant there, but it's basically things that are out of our control. So an example of this type of attribution is, my car broke down in the middle of the road. The transmission must be going out. The downfall of attribution is that it can cause misplaced blame. Sometimes if we're looking for the quickest, easiest, most obvious explanation, we can miss out on the actual cause. So there are three main theories when it comes to attribution. The first is the correspondent inference theory by Hyder and Jones. This says that people pay particular attention to intentional behavior as opposed to accidental or unthinking behavior. This theory relates directly to internal attribution rather than external. And when an observer infers that a person's behavior matches their personality, which is one of those factors we looked at with internal attribution. So what leads us to make the inference or decision that it's an internal attribution, according to this theory, is choice, accidental versus intentional behavior, social desirability, hedonistic relevance, and personalism. The most popular attribution theory is the covariation model by Harold Kelly. This is the logical model for judging whether a particular action should be attributed to some characteristic of the personal or the environment. So it's internal or external. It's basically like a little formula based on these three things: the distinctiveness of the entity, the consensus, or the consistency. So if you have high distinctiveness, consensus, and consistency, it's external attribution. If you have low distinctiveness, low consensus, and low consistency, that relates directly to internal attribution. So that's a neat little formula there to figure out which type of attribution that you're looking at. Lastly, we have Wiener's model of achievement attributions. This says that an individual's causal attributions of achievement behaviors affect subsequent achievement behaviors and motivation, future achievement expectancies, persistence at similar tasks, pride or shame felt following success or failure. There are three dimensions to this model. Stability is the first. You can be stable or unstable, and stability affects our predictions about the future. Locus of causality, internal or external, affects our emotional reactions to success and failure. The more the individual feels that his or her behavior is under his or her conscious control. And that leads us into control. The situation is either controllable or uncontrollable, and that affects our persistence on task. So that is attribution. Thank you.